how does the CVSS determine the severity of a vulnerability? And then how is that even possible if they're not factoring in the specific environment that the vulnerability sits in?
The CVSS works in a number of different ways, and this is by no means me bashing the CVSS because it has its place, absolutely. But what it does is take external factors to determine a specific risk for a vulnerability that could exist on an asset. So, how is that vulnerability exploited? The attack complexity. Is that vulnerability able to be exploited easily or is it hard? What privileges do you have to exploit that vulnerability? What type of interaction do you need to make? And then it really looks at the impact in terms of the typical, you hear in information security all the time, the impact of confidentiality of your information on the asset, integrity of the information on the asset. So, can I flip one number to another number using this vulnerability, or the availability of the information or the asset itself? So, can I exploit this vulnerability and take down an asset or an application, or get rid of all of the information on a database? And that is where the CVSS finds its shortcomings. So, because the CVSS really doesn't take any context of a specific organization, really, how could it? If it's looking at all of the vulnerabilities that could exist for all assets that could exist in every single organization, there's no way that the CVSS could really take a contextualized stance on risk. However, that's where vulnerability management programs and security programs come into play, and that they can use the CVSS along with other factors like asset risk profiles, asset placements in your network, information on those assets to create a risk based approach that allows organizations to do that contextualization, then to prioritize based on one, the severity of the vulnerability, and then two, the contextualization of where that risk lies within the larger scope of their network.